She never done anything like this before, but them size 8s demand more. Images of fame playing in her mind, it seems. Watching them fast girls on TV. Seems like she always has something to do. Chatting all the time with some new dude. Familiar surroundings left her wanting more, but baby girl don't know what's outside her door. Slow down, baby, don't go too fast. The sandbox you playing in ain't gonna last. Slow down, honey, hear what I say. You're growing up too fast and headed down the wrong
How's everyone going? Gee, it's been 2 weeks, Brett. How you going?
Good, how are you?
Oh, you know, it's just been one of those crazy weeks, we say. We had Photowalk last weekend, and then we actually had the city shoot. So we've had 2 models with us. Sorry? Yeah, so it was really interesting. Oh, yeah, music has got to come down. Keep forgetting it.
By the way, guys, just
Sorry, guys.
Let's do a sound check and make sure our mics are okay. As we just found out, the music was too loud again.
Yep, as usual.
But yeah,
it's
fantastic.
just one slider that I keep on forgetting, and it's just it's momentous. But here we are. We're live on the show, and we've got a big show coming up with lots of reviews and news, and also Brett and I, we've got some images to show this time, which are really interesting. And just want to say hello to everyone. You know, we've got a big people are writing in, so that's really interesting. Daniel was
Daniel's here.
Daniel
Michelle
mentioned something about the scroller ticker at the start that's actually jumping a little bit, and there's nothing I can do about it, so I might actually just get rid of it for the next show. So so and hello Michelle and Lauren and everyone else that's popping in now. It's it's really good. You know, we're getting the crew is coming back in, which is really cool. You know, so and we hope everyone is doing okay in the world, and the COVID seems to be rearing its head over in Europe and yet we are starting to open up borders here. So it's just it's a crazy up and down for so many people that are in different countries. So what did you get up to, Brett? How'd you did some gardening and stuff?
Oh, usual. Always doing something around the house, and the missus got me doing things.
It's always some repairs everywhere.
So, but no. As you mentioned before, Thursday we went out and had 2 models and did a shoot in Brisbane. So, and did something way out of our league, not just our own league, but also the models. So,
sorry about that, Daniel. The audio background, it was just way too noisy. I've been asking Ecamm Live to do something about this problem. Every time you see a different screen, it's called a scene. It actually changes, and I'm always complaining about that. The sound levels follow. You know, so you have to manually adjust them. So I wish they would do something about that, so they drop automatically.
Well, I still got a bit of a resolution problem with the playback on the YouTube, so my internet's still not changed.
Not 100%. Yeah. So guys, let us know how the audio level is and if everything sounds okay. Yep. Daniel says audio okay. And
Yep.
Thank you, Daniel, for letting us know. And it's wow. Lauren says her temperature dropped within an hour. It just dropped 15 degrees down in Melbourne. So, yeah,
Might be getting
that's Melbourne.
rain. I wish we'd get some rain up here, though. Oh yeah, we need it bad.
Yeah, it is just one of those things. Anyway, guys, we're gonna jump out of the pre-show and get on with the show. So here we go with the video again, and we've got 2 videos that we're going to chew through, but we're going to do this one and maybe one later.
Yep.
Oh, actually, how about we just do this Photowalk one and we jump this.
We can do that
for one. So let's do this because it's probably more relevant and more interesting to people. Okay, so here we go. Hang on, I just got to. Lauren, you're sticking around on that bloody name tag. Okay, here we go. Whoa, here we go. Wow. That was a bit of a glitch. You took up both screens there for a second there, Brett. But okay, we are back. So how's everyone going? We're in the full show now, and interestingly enough, I've lowered myself now, Brett. If anyone knows, I've got a big desk now, like it's a mammoth. It's bigger than Daniel's desk.
It's a monster of a desk too. Yeah. If that was all completed in one, I wouldn't know how you had gotten that in. So,
it was a complete monster, and Michelle helped me carrying all this in, and it was just and then it was a Meccano set. Like it took me something like I don't know, about a half of 3 hours, 4 hours to put it all together.
Wow.
So it's because it's got all these pull-out bits that you can actually, so you can extend the table and all that, and put it all away. And yeah,
Daniel says the size it does not go up and down. So he's got obviously he's got one of those little remote ones. So, yeah.
Look, I mean, I was thinking about getting an up and down, but they just cost so
Sharon.
much. I mean, it's
Welcome.
and you can't get anything in this size. I mean, this is what is it? 1.2 meters, or actually 1.6, I think, by
Yep.
2.9 meters. So it's huge. It's like it's a 3 meter by 2 meter. Yeah, 1.5 meter. Sorry. So it's really it's a
It's a
decent
dining
size.
table.
It's a dining table. Yeah, get over it. Well, no, they don't make office desks this size. Yeah. And
Yeah.
but IKEA just gives you all these little bits, like 300 screws, and you got to put it all together. Thank Christ for electric screwdrivers. That's all I can say.
That's
I'm just
the-
leaving the house
that's
without
the
worrying
typical,
about breaking the
stone age
law, says
furniture
Laura.
these days.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, Michelle
Yep.
said it was heavy. Yeah, it was definitely heavy. We were huffing and chuffing. Like I felt sorry for Michelle to help me carrying it. So next time you're gonna come over, Brett, and give me a hand. Yeah, that's too small. That's tiny, Daniel. At 180 by 90 centimeters, he says. Oh, it's a tiny little one. So guys, be sure to give us a thumbs up as well while you're here.
Yes,
And
please do.
whoever hasn't not subscribed, do us a favor and just do that as well. So Barry has come in, and Sharon is here as well. How are you all going, guys? Yeah, lovely to see everyone here. Okay, Brett, how about we get into some news, and then we'll advance into some chats, etc., and we'll just get the ball rolling, etc.
Yeah, get that moving.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just do my. Just 1 second. I'll bring up my screen share, and then. Okay, and here we go. So, Brett, as you may have heard, Canon decided to fairly quickly in succession bring out a new video-centric camera, which is the C70.
Yeah.
Now, it's been out for about a week, and there's been talk about it, and but as you can see, there's it's a much more beefy camera, and it's
big.
You will also see there's ventilation holes everywhere. You can just see it just where the grip starts around the hand there. There's a grill there, and just below that, and there's just ventilations everywhere, left, right, center. Very centric. It's a 4K. Runs at 4K 120p 422.
Yep.
Yeah, and it as Daniel said, it just looks weird, this camera, because it's just one big block of it's not a video camcorder style anymore. Now it's sort of this blocky looking thing.
Yeah,
but nevertheless, it's
they're gone away from the hybrid camera sort of thing on this. This one's more cinematic. So
you'll just see around here. There's like a vent hole there, so you can
Two
tell they short themselves
cards.
up.
Yep.
Sorry.
2 card slots, thank God.
2 card slots, yes. And I quite like the style of video-centric camera, and of course it's Canon, but this one also has got the latest arm mount on it, so that's really interesting.
But it's I'm actually surprised for this big body on it. It's still a Super 35.
Yeah.
So, but anyhow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Daniel basically just said he should have gone red Z cam on a full square. Yeah. I mean, there's always room for expansion, but a lot of it's becoming sort of this mainstream thing where it is starting to become more What would this be like? I think this is more than just a B cam. You know, like this is starting to go into more pro level cam. And you can probably just do a full, but it's because it's so compact, you know, it'll fit into smaller areas where a large production camera will not.
Wouldn't.
So that's really interesting. A bit like the
That's true.
A7S3. I mean, it's you know, I think in the future we're going to see amazing footages in movies, etc. That will where they actually used these style cameras. You know, so so the production costs would be way down. So that will be interesting as well. So you'll maybe in the future, after COVID, of course, you know, you'll see more main production movies, but more of them, you know, and indie movies as well, you know, that were shot on these on low budget, you know, but still great production. Yeah, so it's something to look forward to. But as usual, I'll be putting the details of this in the comment box below, guys, and you know, be sure to check it out. I mean, there's videos there that you can look at, and etc.
If people are interested, especially videographers, if they're interested in this camera, right down the very page of that link that Mark's mentioned, there's a download brochure you can download. So yeah,
exactly. You know, like because Brett and I are more Sony centric, obviously, but and obviously we we would like to get our hands on the A7S3, obviously, and to test it out. But we also are keeping an eye on other manufacturers because we are not. First and foremost, we're artists, and we're always having a look around and seeing what else is out there. So, all
right. Next story.
Okay. Okay, so the next story is obviously the one that a lot of people are talking about. It's actually just happened, and Sigma just dropped the 105 f2.8 macro, which is really interesting. It's obviously more or less like a direct competitor to the Sony 90mm f2.8, and that's something that a lot of people are now looking into because of the actual price of this lens. I mean, when you look at the size of it, it's very much in configuration with the 90mm Sony. There are obviously on this link you can actually see all the bits and details of how it was made and how it's been machined, etc. And I can just go into the features here, click on that when that comes up. Okay, so the performance exceeds expectations. Have we heard that before? Exceeding expectations?
Yes.
from someone?
That's the Sony saying.
That's the Sony saying. It's really interesting. They probably just lent that off. Is it a coincidence? You wonder. But here you can actually see the optical glass and AF performance, and this is the usual. You know, it's got a hypersonic motor in it, so it's fast focusing, etc., etc. But I believe from the reviews I've been hearing, this lens is not. How would you say? It's not outshooting the 90mm Sony lens.
I've only heard it's not performing as rendering or the quality.
Yeah.
Maybe I could be wrong. I haven't actually gone through it, but I did hear something that it wasn't pairing up with the Sony 90mm. If people are going to pair this up as price tag and with the Sony 90. I like to see if the AF is faster and more quicker and doesn't
Yeah.
focus hunt like the 80,
Well,
the 90
from
mm.
what I've been
macro.
hearing, it is
Mm.
still this lens is focus hunting a little bit, so it's not
Yep. Mm.
it's not any better or worse than the 90
Yeah.
mm Sony. So I mean, again, people have to remember that the Sony 90 mm has got a switch on the side of the lens,
Yeah.
and if you haven't got that selected properly, you know, your focal range, if you haven't got that selected properly,
Yeah.
then you will have focus hunting a lot more. You will get a lot more problems of it. So you've got to be aware of that switch
Yeah.
all the time.
So this switch here is what Mark's talking about, and it's limiting to your focus point and stop it from hunting back and forwards. So yeah, if you leave it on full, it's going to hunt depending on where you're standing to your subject. So you move this switch back and forwards. I don't believe the Sigma has got that particular switch on that by the looks of it. So yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Or what it is, just because it's a macrocentric switch. A macrocentric lens. You've got to really be aware of that switch.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so-
look.
And again, you know, like what Daniel just says here, the Sony 90mm is now 6 years old, and it's still you know, it's still up there, you know, with its competition. But who knows what Sony will do about it?
Yeah, and like you said, yeah, it is 6 years old. It was one of the, I think it was third lens Sony brought out in the lineup. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's you know, it is what it is, but it's out there. I mean, the price I think is around $750 odd American. So whatever that comes down to in the real price.
It's going to be interesting what reviewers and that will say about it compared to Excalibur and the price. The big price difference. I believe that the Excalibur is about $1,100 US, Australian, around that mark. This one here was what $800 something US. The Sigma, I believe it was. Yeah. So yeah.
It can be interesting in the future, you know, like when we look at the range of lenses that we've got now for our Sony cameras with Tamron and Sigma, etc. You know, like it's quite.
It's mainly these two. Yeah, mainly these two. Tamron.
I mean, you got
and
Voclander as well, and you got you got several choices there now where you can even go manual lenses, etc. And so we're getting more and more sport with lenses, and the value or the cost of kitting yourself out is actually really getting compressed down as well. When you see what you can actually buy, you can go high end with high quality lenses, or go totally native with all just Sony lenses, or you can just you can pick something else and test it. But there is a lot of choices.
This is the way they talk about one mount. Yes, you know, you're versatile, and that's not just limited to full frame. That's going back to you know, your crop sensitive cameras too. So you know,
I mean, when you think about as Daniel just said, you know, when you think about the ecosystem and also with adapters, you know, a lot of people are still forgetting that there's adapters available, and I've still got an adapted lens, which is the 85 Canon f1.2, and that's plenty of proof for people. That should be plenty of proof for people that the one mount lens system, you can fit a 1.2 an f1.2 on your cameras, and you've used it, Brett, and you know how good that what it looks like inside. I mean, it's like daylight. It's quite incredible when you look through.
And plus that you adapt the Sony released for the A mount. Now we can use A mount lens on full frame. So that'd be interesting to see. I haven't seen much reviews come out if anybody's used it yet and so forth. I know we've got a few people in our group are really keen to try that out. So and
anamorphic lenses as well, like what Daniel was saying. Is there a lens out from Fuji that's anamorphic for the Sony? That's interesting. I mean, there is a Siri that's actually brought out two two lenses now for specifically for Sony, which is the 35
Sony.
mil and sorry, for Sony and
Yeah,
the
50.
50 mil. So
Yep.
yeah, so it's good fun. People want to
What I've
experiment
heard,
and they
the
want to go out.
50 is better than the 35. Yeah, it's just the
Yeah.
I think the focal range on the 50 was more pleasing or something like that. But yeah.
Well, how about we move on, Brett? And sorry, guys, I'm just running for this news rather fast because we've got
Quick.
we've got lots of images to show you today. Okay,
Yeah.
so now the news here is with Sony is that it looks like we can. It looks like a 127 megapixel medium format sensor is being announced. So it's it will be very impressive to see that. That could hint towards a medium-size camera from Sony. But again, it's all rumors, guys. So, but it's just an interesting thought that it could happen. You know, it could happen that Sony will finally bring out a medium-size camera, which also will mean then that the mount will change for medium cameras because our bodies, the current bodies, full-size frames will not be able to carry a medium-size sensor in them. But you know, it's all on the cards now. I mean, Sony is going full hog ahead to trounce every aspect of the camera market by the looks of it.
Yeah.
So it's just very interesting that is actually on the market there and something might happen.
Well, and especially comparing with Hasselblad and Phase 1 and Fuji. So in the ballpark with them. So let's hope that the price range is a lot more affordable than the Phase 1 and the Hasselblad for sure.
But that's sort of like a review, like a futuristic view at what. I mean, it always interests me to see, like hyperfires what Sony is thinking about next and what they are coming up with next, and it's not just Sony but other manufacturers as well, and which direction they're heading at, and it's just it's quite interesting. Okay, so
interesting time.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
next one is interesting.
Now, this is interesting too. Okay, so there's been a British company now that have actually been
last one was.
Sorry? What's that, Brett?
Just telling people last part of the news. So,
Oh, there is one more after this. Okay, so there's so this camera basically with this one it hasn't got a rear screen. It's just basically got an attachment where you attach your camera to your phone, your smartphone to.
Yeah.
And with that, you will be then able to have a touch screen and a fully usable screen. It's quite an interesting sort of setup, and I mean, a lot of people were talking in the past, Brett, about that something like this should be made and should be done. And here it is, this company is going to bring this out. What are they called? So it's a British company, QX Series, and so this company's already brought out a camera called the Alice camera, and it's just going to be I mean, it is something
this
that
is going to
this
is going to rely on Wi-Fi technology between the phone and the camera for connection. So the interface that shows up on the back of the camera, or on your phone. So you obviously have to download the software to access the actual front part of the camera. So, but it basically looks like it's all IA driven. So
exactly. So
autofocus, Deep learning color science as well.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
it's not quite clear of how they actually receive the signal going from the phone to the camera, but I would say it would be something like Bluetooth, and being Bluetooth, there might be a problem
Oh,
with like a delay.
it's the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi,
Yeah, so it
so
runs through
you
Wi-Fi.
shouldn't have.
So yeah.
Yeah. Mm,
Well,
yep.
it's something to wait for and look out for, because this will be very pocketable then when you think about it, because you can just take your smartphone off and then you just got this very thin styled camera there in your hand.
Yeah.
So let's get on to the last bit of news here. Sorry guys, I'm always collapsing this. But okay, so this is a very quick bit of news. Nikon have now fast tracked, and this is quite amazing. At what pace Nikon is bringing out cameras now. That's never been the case. If people know about DSLR cameras and SLR cameras, Nikon especially has always been holding back on cameras. Like, it's always been a sort of like a 5-6 year wait before a new camera came out. But now we are just really fast tracking, and as you can see now, Nikon is doing a countdown timer, which is 9 days and 18 hours.
Yep.
What is it? 18 hours? 9 days, 18 hours, etc. to go before they will announce the new Z lineup.
Z7,
Z72
Z6.
and a Z60.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so that will be something that will be interesting.
That's
Sorry.
yeah.
Brett.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the site. There's not much to they're saying, so it's a real teaser.
They're not giving anything away, but for sure they will be bringing out dual card slots. They'll be, they obviously are trying to catch up to Canon and Sony cameras, and rightfully so. They need to do something like upping the game, obviously. Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I just spilt my coffee over myself.
That's okay.
Oh,
You mess.
But anyhow, so that is the news from Nikon.
Yeah, so this was everything that we wanted to talk about. Obviously, there are other bits and pieces.
I missed the microphone.
I'm sure.
Thank God.
I'm sure Daniel would want to talk about some other bits and pieces. Something like a wireless HDMI. There's actually been a new device that's like an update from that Holy Land. Holy Land has actually brought out another unit, and they got rid of the two aerials that are actually on top of the device. Now it's just it's a nice small form factor, and it's a really interesting thing. But I didn't think it's too photography centric, and it's more like videography centric. And it's very hard for the people that are watching this to really understand it, and it's probably a little bit tiring as well. So I just thought I'd just bring it up and mention it. Is that enough for you, Daniel? Yeah. Okay. And now, what's this? Lauren said, "Geez, Brett, usually I'm the one you can't take out in public." Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She's talking about me spilling the coffee. So.
And Daniel said he can't talk about Holy Land. Ooh, what's going on there, Daniel? There's some secret stuff coming out. Interesting. Okay, so let's go over to. Do you want to do a screen share on your side, Brett? We'll start with you. Is that okay?
Well, we can do that. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to switch over. There you go. And you are it.
Here we are. Well, I'm just going to do. We're going to share some of the images that we shot Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. If people do not know, we have gone into Brisbane City and Brett and I, we took 2 models with us, and we did a bit of shooting, which was a bit, I don't know, what would you call it? Paparazzi style, fashionista,
Yeah,
grunge style look.
yeah, it's like street, fashion, editorial, all sort of mixed in together. As you can see with this shot, this shot here, I
How you going,
actually
Terry?
got this.
Just
Hi
saying hello
Terry.
to Terry.
I actually got this idea from the city Photowalk we did in Brisbane,
Yeah,
and this is how this shot came about. And I redid that done again. This time I had a model to do it with, and it sort of worked out more how I visioned how I was going to do this shot right from the word go, and redo it again. But I have to say too, with the models, they were not in their element to doing this sort of shooting. Billy here in this particular shot, she's retro. She's using usually in the vintage and retro.
yeah. Billy does a lot of 50s shooting, etc. Yeah, but it's yeah. Let's talk about how we went, Brett. What do you think? Have you got any more images that we can go through?
Let's see here.
I mean, as everyone can see, we just dared to actually do stuff that usually photographers don't do. We just went to shop windows. We actually went inside shops and shot inside there with permission, of course.
Yeah.
But we had all sorts of fun there. It was just a great shoot.
Yeah. And then there was this shot. Another store entry in store. This one actually with
It's not coming up,
what
Brett.
was it?
Just waiting for it to come up.
Not coming up. It's,
Oh, there it is.
hang
Yep.
on.
Yeah, it's up now.
It's a bit slow at the moment. Maybe because of the internet or something. But anyhow, but this store we did actually ask could we shoot in there, and we were very privileged and lucky that we were able to go actually inside, because this store was absolutely amazing. Very stylish, very fashionable, vintage sort of stuff. But and by the way, this is all natural light, especially this particular shot, because
that's what we should bring up. We did not use. We decided right from the get-go not to use strobes or flash. So this is all done with natural light, and it's amazing how well we can push our cameras. And I should mention we used an A7 III. We used an A9 and A7 R4. So all these images were taken with those cameras.
And the lenses we used 85, 55, and 50, and I used also the 24-70. So they were the only lenses that we used on the day.
Yeah, everything was Sony apart from, well, I used my Zeiss Planner, which is the 51.4. So yeah, guys, it's quite if you might think it's tricky to get these sort of shots, you need fast lenses. That's what I would recommend. Anything like prime lenses is probably the way to go with it.
And here we got another one of Whitney. So
you'd be very surprised, Daniel. Daniel just asked, much work on the image to get light so nice. No, I did very little editing on my images, and they come out. I will do a screen share after this, but I'm pretty sure Brett had the same thing happening on this, and we just had a lot of sun. It was a very hot day, blue sky. So everything was all the light was bouncing from the buildings.
And we utilised that. You'll see in the shots. This one you can actually see in the foreground how bright it was.
Yeah.
Whitney's in the shade, and you were utilising that bounce off the ground of the light bouncing back to light our subject. With the editing on my side, I do a bit more, and I'm not talking about global, the global exposures, but I do a bit more styling in colour grading and so forth. So,
Yeah, I mean, Brett works a lot more on his edits than what I do. I'm just I guess I'm a bit lazy when it comes to editing, and I don't like spending too much time on the desk. I'd rather be out there shooting. But we've both got quite a different style of shooting, as you can see here. Like you'll see all these are Brett's images, and then I'll show you my images, and you'll see the difference right away, I guess.
And next one, we're going back to Billy, and here we are, Ashley inside, and I can't remember what I shot with this one.
And here you can see, I mean, this was exactly what we had planned to do, like go into the building's foyers and shoot inside the foyers, because it's amazing how well styled a lot of the CBD buildings are, and if you we knew damn well that if we don't go, like we had to go in there very fast and get out very fast, because nowadays they got cameras everywhere, so you just get the shots and get out of there, basically. So and again, this was not strobe, no flash.
No strobe. This is just inside the light, all the natural available light in these buildings. But this one was all. This was shot with the 85. I remember this one now. But yes, you got to be very quick to get in, get the shot. So you do not have a lot of time to tell your model what you want to do. You just basically just tell her quickly and get her to strike some poses. If you're going to a certain look, obviously you've got to let her know that beforehand and that. But yes, but down in the street, Queen Street more, I think I'll show one more photo.
Danny just asked why is there less space on the left? He said it locks her up a little. I think there was a table there, wasn't there?
Yeah. I just also there was a table, but I didn't like the shiny part of the floor on the right hand side with the carpet sort of. I wish I had more room to back up a bit, because there was reflection as well. Here, a lot of these people would know, Brizzy, this is the laneway that leads down to the Bruco. So
Daniel,
here,
when you look at that image again, you'll see there's sort of like, you can just see a bit of that leg off the table there.
I wasn't too overly fussed with the table. But we did have to work quick, so here we took a bit of.
It was a very busy day because, Daniel, we've got school holidays here at the moment, and this was I couldn't believe how busy the city was. Actually, it was quite turmoilish. We were basically into this laneway. We constantly had cars going up and down. Go down into the car park there on the left-hand side.
In that little door that you see down at the back on the left-hand side. It's amazing they can fit a car into that tiny little alleyway. But this particular shot, it was a bit overcast at this time, which is beautiful light, because all the light was just bouncing off the walls either side. But you've got to be very careful with colour casting being thrown.
You're right, Lauren, because she says suddenly there's a lockdown, and the lockdown in Melbourne looks pretty good, and you'll be amazed of how many people are going to flush into Melbourne once that all opens up. And the amount of people that are coming, like we've got now the borders open between New South Wales and Queensland into a region of New South Wales where you're allowed to travel to, and those people are allowed to come in as well. So it's quite the influx is quite big. So watch out for that when that happens. Once people can travel
So-
again, it's just going to happen.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of editing in through about 600 shots I did on the day, but I sort of
Yeah.
briefly went through a lot. As Mark mentioned, we did the whole time we were using available light, but this shot here, I did use flash. It went over a bit overcast, and it still had beautiful overcast light because of the overcast.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to get that extra pop into this shot, and you can
Yeah.
see into her eyes here that Billy's eyes, you can actually see the catch light. She would have catch light in her eye without a flash, but it's just to give better light. And mind you, there was no diffuser or anything on that flash at all. So it just goes to show you what you can do with a flash without being overpowering. Just enough light to give you better results.
Yeah, I mean, most of the times we were shooting in shade, and
Yep.
there was enough bounce light coming from the buildings to give us beautiful light all the time, and it's quite amazing what you can achieve. And we decided not to go with flash or strobes because just the time that it would have taken for us to set it up, and also the permits and all this stuff that would have to go with, all that would have been just too time consuming for us. I mean, as is, we already had security coming out and
On our
actually
back.
questioning us and being on top of us already.
Yeah.
So we were just moving around fast.
Okay.
But
So I'm
we
gonna go
were
back
actually approached by security
to you.
several times. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to switch over then to
And-
my screen share.
Yep. Yeah. So
Okay.
there's tricks to what you can do when you're out in the street and just shooting in the city, and that you just got to be aware that you're being constantly watched
Yeah.
by security, and they will come out after you. So
I should just raise my mug and wish President Trump a speedy recovery.
mhm. Okay. I had
Okay,
no
so
issues. Either just being idiots, don't like people in general. Yeah. But
it's just one of those things where, I mean, security for some reason do not know the law, the proper law, and they want to just shoo you away. They just they're just not very well informed.
one of the reasons why the security came out when I was actually shooting with Billy against the that shop front door, whatever you call it, Mark noticed, like, I was just too busy trying to get the shot, and Mark noticed I was stopping people from walking in front of me. I didn't say a word or anything. I was just doing what I had to do.
People were always beelining around, like you were taking a shot, and they realized that they were walking into the shot, and before you know it, it was like an ant track of people walking around Brett.
Yep.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
I should have captured that. It was hilarious actually. But we always invited people to walk through the shot, and like we never stopped anyone from walking through the shot. But it just seemed like everyone was trying to avoid us.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting. I just want to my first screen that you're seeing here, guys, is just my my concept that I'm coming up with. It's not live yet, and there's nothing on my website per se about workshops, etc. Nothing upcoming, but I'm soon going to be offering this style of workshop, which is called Essential Vision. And I've noticed that a lot of people don't really want to. They want to learn how to use a camera, and they want to know how to take images and get great results, but not really wanting to necessarily stick to one genre only. And at the moment, I'm tailoring workshops for that. So it's going to be a very different concept to what we've been used to so far. So this is why I'm flashing this up, and obviously this was actually an image that we did take on
Thursday,
on that shoot on Thursday. And this is Whitney. The other girl's name is Billy, and if they might be actually watching this right now. And hello, guys.
Yep. And guys, thank you very much for, if you're watching, thank you very much for Thursday. It was a challenge, but no, they had a lot of fun as well. So yeah.
And as you can see, like even just using an umbrella, you can get mileage out of it, and you can really get shots done. This was shot outside the Treasury Casino, for instance, if people want to know where this is in Brisbane. Which is and again, like under the umbrella, get some shade, and you got the shot done.
And this was in very bright light too. So
very harsh light, very harsh light. So don't use excuses that you can't go and shoot out there in harsh light. It works. This is just, this was just a doorway that was open, and a staircase, and we just blitzed in there and got the shot. And Whitney was just walking. I told her to go up there and just walk down the stairs, and I was just rattling off images. So I think I took something like 20 or 30 shots in succession to just to capture the right moment. So don't be afraid of actually shooting. And this is just the gang together. We're just on our way, and you can actually just see all the baggage that the baggages that the girls had to carry with them to actually do the changes and all the clothes. And Brett is in the background there. You can see him with his bag with all his gear. So we did certainly attract a lot of people watching us and wondering what we're up to.
Yeah, that's for sure. For sure, yeah. And the girls started to notice that,
and more or less we did set up the girls in front of stores, and we wherever we could see a potential backdrop, we got the girls on there, and and in a lot of these images you cannot see the amount of people that were walking around and trying to get past us. This is probably the busiest part of the CBD in Brisbane.
Queen Street.
Queen Street Mall, which is the busiest one. And just move on. I'll track through it. And Whitney just happened to have a Burberry scarf with her, and I put her in front of a Burberry window, and it's that's why that scarf is so matching. But no, she didn't go in the shop and buy one, or she didn't. By no means did she ever steal anything, and she does not steal. But she just happened to have that in her bag, and we said, okay, you get in front of that window, and we're going to shoot right now. Sometimes things just come together and they just blend, which is really great.
See, sometimes before we actually organise the shoot, we do ask a certain look. We'll do a storyboard up and share that storyboard with the models of images of the styling or the colour or whatever. But also too, it really comes down at the end of the day what they have on hand to bring along, and then we ask, can you take some photos of what clothing you got? And on the day, we actually, before we leave our cars, we look at the clothes and then we pick out the clothes that we think we could work with. And when you're walking around the streets and you're looking at the clothes they got, then you try and line that match either that clothing to the style of the background of colours, or just the style or whatever. So that's how that all works.
And again, on this image you will see that again, Whitney just happened to have the same bag as what is actually in the shop window, like in black, and it's in white in the shop window, and it was a bit eerie actually. I didn't tell her to bring these specific bags, but she just happened to have them with her, and it's quite a match. So,
Yeah.
okay, I'll just move on. I'm just.
While Mark's going on, guys, if you've got any questions about the images we're showing, or if there's something you want to know how we did this, or whatever that that you want to try and do some of this, just let us know. We're more than happy to answer the questions.
I mean, as you can see here, I mean, we just used. I mean, there are so many options when you walk around the city with a model that you can just shoot, but we certainly didn't want to stop in one spot or hide away or anything like that. I mean, we just did this in full view of everyone, especially the security guards, etc. So we were really pumping into it, and really getting stuff done. So we're very happy. This is just sort of like a walk, like a shopping center walkthrough. And again, I just told Billy to sit down. And we got the shot. So it's just fun,
Yeah. So that was nice. Yeah, that was in the mall. Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, we basically did. This was TFP, Daniel, if you want to know. So time for print, and the girls were all too happy to come along and do this, because it just both of these girls were actually out of a comfort zone, and they had never done anything like this before. So it's a really interesting kind of way to introduce them into this sort of fashion shoot. It's interesting,
and as you can see,
it adds to their portfolio as well, which is fantastic.
And both girls had different style of taste of clothing, as you can see from my images and Mark's and the girls. Even one was actually commented and said, "Well, finally got a photo shoot that on showing less skin." So that was a little compliment, for her too. So
I mean, it's Whitney, as you can see here in the picture, she's more used to doing bikini shooting, etc. And Billy is more used to doing 50s style shooting and pin-up girl style shooting. And so they were just wearing clothes that they just were not used to. And so it's very interesting. Hey, going, Michael. Good to see you. Michael Maestro is in the house.
Yeah, he's only just here for a little while. He said saying he's got to go shoot last night.
3 a.m. But nevertheless, I really appreciate you popping in.
Thanks for dropping in.
It's really great to see you here. And fantastic. A lot more people are actually coming into the show now, so it's really good. I think that's pretty the last picture. Okay, there is another one. I actually sent this picture to Billy, and I said to her, "Well, your nose is about that long now." So, just a fun shot, So and again, you can just see how amazing the Sony cameras are, going past her hand, through the glasses, and actually you got a sharp eye, which is amazing. These cameras can't be fooled much. I think this was shot with the A7R4.
I don't know. You were using two bodies. I was only just using the one body. So
and that's probably another thing I should bring up. I like hot swapping cameras, which means that you leave one certain lens on one camera and another one on the other camera. So I had, for instance, I should just bring it up, the A9 with the
24
GM24 Sony lens, and that was one body, and then I had the other body, the A7R4, which was I had the Sony Zeiss Planar 50mm 1.4 on that. So I was always just sort of hot swapping. Like if I needed a wider lens, I just grabbed the bag out and got that camera out without having to swap lenses. You
did use the 85 as well, somewhere along the line.
Yeah, somewhere along the line, I did actually a lens swap, and I put a. But I had more time to do it. But in situations like this, when you're in the city, an 85 mil, you really have to stand a fair bit away, and when
Mm.
people are walking through all the time because there's such a big gap, yeah, I was really treasuring the 50 mil and the 24 mil because you're much closer to the to the talent.
Which is why we didn't use the 135 because it was just
Yeah.
too far away. Yeah. And the 135 is more of a special lens too. It's portrait. There's nothing to say you can't use it in fashion or anything, but it was just a bit too far away of where we were at the time.
Yeah, it's great to see Daniel here too, by the way, as Michael said.
Yeah.
Because Daniel has been offline for quite some time, being very busy, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's good to see him firing up again and coming on. And guys, if you want to give Daniel some support, have a look at his YouTube's online as well. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Good to see him. He's got a lot of information there about the Sony cameras and tips, many tips as well there.
Yeah, and small rig too. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna quickly just go through a few more, and as you can see here, that's so these are all just possibilities. I mean, like even in this florist shop, there was we basically walked into the shop and just asked them if it's okay to shoot, and because it was such an open area where the shopkeeper was in there, and she might have gotten into the shot sooner or later, I guess, but not in this one specifically.
Yeah.
But if
And
you
guys-
ask, you can.
Yeah.
There's not many people that say no,
No.
which is interesting, you know. So
So, guys, if you're doing this sort of the street style of what you just saw we do, don't be scared doing it. And if there's a real nice shop front or shop that you would like to go and shoot in, don't be afraid to go in and ask someone because that way, if you ask, you're going to be able to do the shoot better and not just sort of run and gun and try and be quick as possible. You can take your time then. Yeah. So,
well, guys, I can probably just we did the photo walk on the Gold Coast as well, and I've got a few shots here from the actual photo walk. I can probably just flush through them. This was done. When did we do that? On Saturday. Last week Saturday.
Yeah.
So again, guys, you can just see how many people are now up and abouts and frolicking. They're even running markets and all that. I mean, this must be quite a surprise to the European people that are actually watching this. What is actually happening in Australia?
Yeah.
Especially here in Queensland.
Yeah, and this is the time of the school holidays. So, yeah, just mention that to everybody. It's why you're going to see so many people at the Gold Coast because it's a popular destination for Australians to go to.
Yeah, absolutely. See, a lot of times I don't see barriers, or I don't see unless people put up a sign, or it's blatantly obvious that you are not allowed to take images. I just usually go into buildings, through buildings, take pictures of people whenever I can and wherever I can. Just sheerly out of will. I mean, if someone comes walking up to me and they don't want their picture taken, that's fine. But usually I'm just I just shoot ahead, you know, and you can see that here, and so we've got happy people going out and are abouts everywhere, you know. So.
Lauren, I just want to say that we're fortunate here in Queensland that our cases have been very minimal, and every case that did come up were already quarantined. So Queensland pretty had much hold of the virus where we want it to be, where Victoria was a total different situation. So you guys had to bring those numbers down before Queensland, where we are now. So I'm not going to go on too much, but Michael, what city was this in?
This was actually this was on the Gold Coast, Michael. And,
he's talking about
the previous images. They were shot in Brisbane.
Yep.
So we always hop in between because the distance from Brisbane to the Gold Coast is about an hour's drive around there.
Yeah.
So it's all happening in Queensland. You know, you got to come down here one day, Michael, and really experience the life when everything opens up again.
Yep.
We'll be looking forward to seeing people coming.
Yep. And yeah, and you can see in this shot what Mark's showing at the moment, these people just walk in front of you, and it's like you just got to be ready. And if they do this, it's like a green light. Yeah, take a photo, because that's what they want you to do.
Yeah.
So they see a camera in your hands, and they'll pose for you. So yeah.
Well, I don't know if Queensland has dodged so many bullets, and it's just sheer luck. I think we just got. I don't know. Have we got a better health system? Because I'm meeting a lot of people that are in the healthcare service, and because families, etc., here in Queensland are involved in the healthcare service, we've got a lot more awareness, maybe because of it. But I mean, we keep distance and all that. And again, it can be just sheer luck that we dodge bullets. I have no idea, but I mean, we've almost got zero infections now here on COVID.
Look, I honestly believe it got to do with being on top of when any known cases were available by how many tests were actually done, and as soon as it was found out and traced back who was where and blah blah blah, it was all under control and then isolated. And because we were so quick and fast acting on that, that's how we got everything to under control. But also too, Queensland had much stronger border closures from all the other states. There was a stage where the other states were bitching about Queensland not opening their borders, and our Premier just refused to open. So she basically did a bloody fantastic job, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, Micah, you're in California. Okay.
Yeah.
I've got to catch up with you one day when I'm flying again, because I work a lot in California. So.
Yeah.
when COVID is not around.
Yeah. And that was the same area as the recent fires they had over there too, isn't it? California.
I think they're still raging, so I'm not 100% sure how it's all going, Michael.
So double whammy, like we had our fires, and then we had the COVID-19. So it's the other way.
Now they got where is it now in Italy? They got all these floods happening over there as well now. So there's been people that have lost their lives. Just heard that on the news.
Yeah. So. But is that about all the content you got there, Mark? Show.
Look, I mean, I can go further, which is probably not too many more. But okay. Yes. So this is just the preview of some of the images that I actually had in the slideshow, but I'm probably not gonna go on about it. This is just basically our next Photowalk preview stuff. So
okay. Yep.
Okay. So I'm just gonna go back into our screen, Brett.
Yep.
Yeah, and again, guys, the October Photowalk, by the way, is going to be a doozy. So for everyone that lives in Melbourne, in Brisbane, and all that, the bookings are going to be opening up fairly soon. Brett is just going to get that organised. But then we'll also announce exactly where it is.
Yeah. Bit of a teaser for you guys. So,
just a little teaser, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So workshops and Facebook groups, I think we're on now, and then
exactly.
we move on to we record the rename the next segment too. Some not artistic now, are we? Or something else.
Artistic review, we're going to call it.
I think we did call it that originally. I thought you changed it. Yeah, okay.
You know how it all goes.
I've got to read the script. Excuse me.
It's all your fault, Brett. Okay, Brett. Just quickly, just bringing this up. I was actually looking for this scene. I had lost it. But again, everyone can just see that we are holding and running workshops, and most of them are actually bespoke workshops. And if people hit us up and talk to us and let us know what they would like to do or what they are lacking, what they're lacking in, and they would like to know more about it, yeah, come and let us know. I mean, we do all sorts of workshops.
Yep.
And also, just doing this end bit, we also, yes, we do street, Terry.
We do street. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I didn't put it in, but we do street. Okay, so yeah, and with the groups that we recommend are obviously very selfish, because Brett runs his Facebook as an admin and I run mine as an admin, and we moderate each other's. Okay, so there is the one Facebook which is Sony Alpha Brisbane, and the other Facebook is Photography Collective.
Yep.
Photographers Collective, I should say. And no one has actually joined that yet, come join us, and see what's happening. And you can also stay up to date with all the announcements that we've got, like our live shows, etc.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I'm just going to make a quick change here, Brett.
Yep.
Just bear with me for 1 second. How about if I blend us back into the ambient? Has anyone got any question we would like to hear from you guys? If there's anything happening right around your place. What does anyone think about elections coming up now over in the States? Yeah.
Oh, we won't go politics. No.
Has anyone got any plans about traveling, etc.? Now things are starting to sort of open up and things are starting to happen. I mean, where's everyone sitting with all this? I just gotta switch over to some bits and pieces here. So I just gotta go into the browser. Oops. That's me. Where are you, Brett? Are you still here?
I'm still here.
Oh, I'm really screwing it up today.
Don't mention that. I don't want to, drop out. So.
Nah, you're okay. We're just going to keep on humping along. Okay, I need to switch on that one. Okay, so.
Well, Mike, I hope your brother is going to get through it and he'll be fine. So take it easy over there, guys. I know you guys over there that you're copying a lot of exposure of this virus. It's really overwhelming compared to Australia, how we managing it better. But I mean, yes, you guys have a lot more people in the States and that. So, but it's quite frightening. So, but be safe and do the right thing. Just wear a mask.
Yeah.
Your hands clean. Keep your distance. It's common sense. It really is. That's what it's about.
Yeah, and Daniel said we need to demand the raw news, and it's you never know the actual full truth about what's going on. But I mean, I don't want to get into too much politics, but sometimes it's difficult.
So,
how about we do a review?
Review time, guys. So
so basically what we have here is a picture from Amy Tate, and I haven't actually seen Amy submitting many pictures. Is this the first time, Brett?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so anyone that's got rat or mouse phobia, now's the time to just mention that, or maybe just look away for a second. But nevertheless, I mean, this is an interesting shot. I like how this image was taken at the eye of the. What is this? Is this a rat or a mouse?
It's mouse, I believe.
It was actually. I think it's a rat. It's got a long tail.
Yeah, probably more of a rat. Yeah.
Someone fix us
Yeah.
up here. We're not very good animal analyzers here, unfortunately. But anyway, it's well, the image was basically taken at the right level, which is great, and it looks like, you know, you are in the world of this animal.
Mm.
What do you think, Brett? What would you say about that?
I'm just trying to look the photos up. Just give me a tick.
Yep, sure.
Actually, yes, I do see it. Here we are. Actually, yeah, I'm liking this. Is there like bouquet of flowers in the background or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's sort of like plants, and I think whatever. Yeah, like a bouquet of
Bouquet
roses,
of
white roses there in the background.
Yeah. That's
So this
what
was
I've
shot
seen.
with the Sony A6400 at 1600
Yeah.
per second f1.8 ISO 1800
Yeah, the
and
50
a 50
mil.
mil
Yeah, so
1.8 lens.
yeah. I mean, look, what can I say? Boca. But look, she's nailed the eyes. Obviously, I'll give her that, and yeah.
Yeah,
but,
and Daniel
I-
just said, question, did iFocus work? And I looked at this picture earlier on, Brett, and I think the focus is actually on the whiskers.
Oh,
So
right.
It's just front focusing on the
can't-
eyes.
Yeah, really see that.
Yeah, it's just very, very hard to make out what it actually.
It's one of those things that you can. It's when you're shooting. I believe when you're actually shooting something at the time, it's something that you really won't see until you get the images up on your computer where the focus actually went to. So it's something like I can honestly say when I'm using my A7 III, I had to get used to the EVF because it's not a high resolution EVF, and that goes with the crop sensors as well. So you got to learn if you nail the shot when you're out. If you're not sure, take another shot
Exactly.
and make sure. But it's something you got to. What I found with cameras with the EVF, low resolution EVF, you're not going to get the experience, say, from the A9 or the R4.
Well, if you got
yeah,
if you got those whiskers in front of the eyes, it's very hard to
yeah,
capture the eye with the. Yeah, you got to be in the right focus mode.
but
able to do
whether
that.
she used focus peaking, and and if you
Just wanna-
use the
just shouting out to my brother, hello Eddie, how are you?
Yeah. So in this sort of case, if you think the autofocus is not working, and in most cases with animals, a lot of times the focus will get the nose or the whiskers before it even gets to the eye because
Yeah.
it's such a small minimal back and forward for the lens to get. So just throw it into manual, or if you go and not the manual mode but the MF mode, you can still do AF automatic, but you get the focus peaking and you'll see where the focus is at the time. So try that technique as well. I think that'd be a fun thing to see if you're having trouble, if you're nailing the focus where you want it to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like what Daniel said. He mentioned jump to focus point. Yeah, you might have better luck because it's also a thing where you need to consider that the rat or mouse is going to be walking around a fair bit. You know, it's not going to be
quick, very
standing
quickly,
still.
like
It'll be
Daniel
very
said.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah, and any animal you're gonna have the trouble. That's why I suggest if you go on the MF selection still gives you the the autofocus, but it gives you the focus peaking in it too. So it just gives you a better idea if you got things into focus. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
like
So,
having the camera in burst mode also, and then taking just rattling off shots and just moving backwards and forwards with the camera, it will actually help you as well. So it's just a matter of trial, but it looks like you had plenty of time to get these shots as well. And
the lighting's
you sort
good
of
too.
you set up a studio for the
Yeah.
mouse. It's a rat. It's a rat.
A
isn't
bit
it?
hot. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
Fighting this.
A bit hot in
Why,
the
Amy?
top corner.
Yeah.
Where that light shining through the leaves, but it's
Yeah,
sort of
also,
the,
what I'm seeing here, Brett, is that just here on the front, there's a bit of
Yep.
shadowing happening on the floorboards
Oh, okay. Yeah.
or the wood. So there's a bit of shade there. I don't know why. Is that just the edge of the table or something? Or not 100% sure.
I don't know.
But that could be
Yeah.
cropped out, so
Yeah.
you just go
Yeah.
to the crop tool and
But
just crop
Amy-
that out quickly.
Yeah, Amy's she's one of our, she's been with us for a while, but she's not one of our experienced, but she's coming a long way. I've seen a huge improvement since she's been on our photo walks and
Yep.
been with us. So her images have come very, really good. So just keep the good work up. You
You
obviously
can you could try probably a crop like that. What I just did, so it's a.
Yep.
It also brings the mouse forward a little bit more, or the rat.
Yep.
Sorry, brings the rat forward.
Yeah.
More into its world, like to makes
Yep.
makes it more prevalent.
Mm.
But it gets rid of that little shadow in the front or that corner, the edge.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next picture, and this is John Gatsby's picture, and he's got two of these images, and maybe I need to ask the guys and girls here in the comment box to actually leave a comment for John and let him know which image you prefer, because he wants to get one of them printed.
Yeah.
So I think he said that he shot these two images within a very short succession. So it's maybe you guys can help him out and let him know which. Just vote for either this picture or the other one. I should bring up the other one as well at the same time, and just see.
And guys, this shot on the A9, this one.
Okay, so
length.
this is the other picture.
Yeah.
So let's do a little competition here without any prize at the moment, guys. Sorry, but
Yeah.
this will probably help out John a fair bit. This is number 1, and this is number 2. So he wants to get this printed, and I mentioned to him to get it printed on metal, mental, on metal.
Metallic. Yeah.
Metallic, or
metal.
that would be really interesting.
metallic,
Really bring out the feathers and all that,
Yeah.
So
Look,
again,
to
I'll
be
just
honest,
show you.
John, if you're listening, or see us after, if you're not, but I particularly like the first one. Yeah.
I think it's much more aggressive, isn't it? Like it's sort of
yeah.
like a lot more. It tells you a lot more. Like it tells a bit better story.
Well, this one you're showing right now, I mean, I think it's the sky being diagonal off the top half, and you got highlight and shadows and the green. I don't know. It's hard. I think it's going to come down to personal taste, especially for him to figure it out. But to me, I like the one where there's no sky and it's just that green behind it. It's similar to style, but the one with no sky in it, the wings are out further. It's one wing's sort of more out more than the other. There's more shape to it. I like that one better than the one with the grey sky in the top corner.
Yeah, like Daniel just said, might darken the corners on first.
Yeah.
On more focus on him.
Mm.
And Daniel said also move balance and storytelling. Not sure what that means. But, we'll maybe try darken the back a little. Yeah. What I'm seeing here on my screen, and I'm probably seeing it a lot sharper than what other people are seeing it. The image is the bird has been sharp. It is almost a little bit too sharp, Brett. Around the wings, etc., and under the belly. I'd probably just bring the sharpness back a little bit. It doesn't need to be this sharp. It just almost looks like a Photoshop cutout, to be honest. So you got to tone that back a little bit and just de-sharpen the edges a little bit. But that's just my taste, it just looks.
I don't know. To me, I love a ton of detail and sharpness.
Yeah. And the detail is there. Just the edges, especially around the left-hand side of the belly, from where you're viewing from. I can, there's sort of like a fine white line going around it. Might just be a little bit over sharpened, but again, how you going, John? You're in. Was waiting for you to pop in, but we were just talking about the sharpening side. But again, you've got the original image, and you can tell whether or not it's over sharpened or not. But just don't go too heavy on being too crispy. It's that's all. But great images. I like them. And
it looked fantastic shots. Every time I see your work, John, you're just excelling all the time. So keep it up. I mean,
exactly.
I enjoy seeing your images and stuff, mate. So,
and I think you were asking John about which image you should use, and I think consensus is actually around this picture with the sky on the corner.
Yeah, well, look, I like the second.
You like the second one?
Yeah, where there's no sky. Well, I think that,
There's no sky?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you print both, John?
Yeah.
Well, you could actually put the two images on one print. That's another thing, choose a larger print, but then get both of them, next to each other on the one print. These are just considerations that you can do.
I have to ask you, John, what sort of monitor are you using when you're editing your images? Because if you're using a high photographer's monitor, 4K, obviously, like a ISO and ISO and them.
Like a curved Acer, Brett?
Well, a curved Acer. But I mean, the one I use is an LG one. It's certified photographer's 4K HDR. But you certainly see all the detail and all that, and the colors. But when you're editing, you would see that come up on the screen. So if it's really razor sharp, it's going to stare you right in the eyes. But sometimes other monitors just won't give you that. He's got an iMac.
Yeah.
So,
see, what you can do with the printers, you can actually ask them to do a test print, so they can actually send you like a back an image of what it's actually going to look like before you go ahead with the high end cost of getting something printed, and then it doesn't look right. So just ask them if they actually do a test print for you.
Yep.
That's another thing, because they got different kind of calibrations to their screens and monitors.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So he's
I
got
would
an
go
iMac
that
that's
way first, John, and see how you would like it. Yeah, even the colours, and that, pay attention to the colours and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it
I mean,
really
it all just
depends.
boils down to taste as well, right?
Yeah. Another thing too about printing, when you do go to printing and you go to for a print test, ask them, do they prefer the JPEGs or do they prefer TIFF files?
Yeah, exactly.
Because obviously the TIFF files will give you will give your printer a much more data to work with and color tones and color
I mean,
extra
it's
color
just
stuff.
because a lot of these the costs are very prohibitive. I mean, if even for a small scale image, I mean, you're still paying anywhere around $250 to $400 odd dollars for, depending on the size, etc., and the material that's being used. But you know, like you don't want to heft out that kind of money without getting some kind of assurance that the image is going to be looking good.
Yeah.
And Daniel said, get it done
TIFF.
in TIFF, but always ask the printer what they prefer. Always.
That's right. John just said his printer prefers TIFF files.
And
Some printers
John just said TIFF files,
they will do the JPEGs, but if you're doing shots like this, you want to give out the best resolution and data possible for these printers to give you the best result. So, yeah.
And I should just mention, John shot this with the A9 camera.
Yep.
The 100 to 400 GM lens and ISO 100, 400 mil, f5.6 at 1060th of a second.
Yep.
So this is sort of like where you want to be at when you're shooting birds, anywhere around 2,000 to 3,000 of a second. You know, is probably good if you can get enough light on them. And it will stop everything, your wings and all that. And there's also other principles of shooting birds in flight where there are people that want the wings to move a little bit, you know, or show some movement. Then you've got to throttle down your shutter speed a bit. But it just comes through experience. You just got to keep on shooting birds.
Actually, I will mention something that we actually we're going to talk in the show is about grading your images after you come back from a shoot. Did you get a normal everyday shot, or did you get a featured shot, or did you get a hero shot? These are the sort of questions and the not questions, but the things I do when I get home. When I cull through all my images, and I'm always after the hero shot. This one here of John's, it's pretty close to a hero shot, but not quite there yet, I think, because there is a bit of background, something, with the yellows and stuff, but you don't have that option. But I would class this as a feature shot, definitely a feature shot. But when I talk about feature shot, it does mean it's passed to be published, or passed to post, where under a feature shot is just your normal shot, that they're good shots, but they're nothing to, you may not post or share or whatever. But the hero shot's the one is very, very hard to be consistent with. A lot, even the top photographers in the world have that tough time too. They don't always get the hero shots every time they go out and shoot. They probably get more feature shots like I do, and that so forth. So just keep that in mind when you come home and cull figure images. What sort of shot do you class these images and put them in the category? And
yeah, absolutely. Like it is always a very, very difficult thing to grade your images, and especially when you absolutely want this one image to work for you. And just remember that if you have got if you have got an image that's not sharp, it doesn't matter what you do with it, you will not be able to get that sharp. So you got to make decisions of culling, and you got to be harsh with yourself sometimes. And unfortunately, those kind of images, you got to be very careful with showing them or printing them or actually having them in your portfolio. We're talking about more or less like photographers that actually want to go into this kind of professional field, and they want to, and you just cannot show images that are not meant to be sharp, and they're not sharp. So you've got to be very careful with that. Obviously, it's culling stuff like that where you've been on this world trip or something like that, and it's just a once-off image that you've taken, and it's not sharp, and culling that off is a difficult choice to make, but it has to be done. So Daniel just asked, was this done with the 1.4 teleconverter? But I think it was just the 100 to 400, no teleconverter.
No, 100, 400. Yep.
So it's pretty cool.
So I hope that sort of gives you a bit better idea how to cull your images by grading them. Look, this shot of what we're seeing now is so close to a hero shot.
I should just go quickly back to Jason. Sorry, Brett, cutting you off there, but so Jason, how you going, mate? And he said, dark in the background, ? Or I think there's too much yellow tone in the background, as Brett already mentioned. Clashes with the eagle. Yeah, it's sometimes working the background down a little bit and actually highlighting the image. But again, I would, before I would do that, I would probably get a test print done by your printer to see what it actually comes out like. Or even give him two images and get two printed to see what it will look like one darker background and one lighter background. You got to understand too, in this particular shot, the bird is camouflaged. You can see how well camouflaged in the background, and that's nature. But as we said, we would like, it's pleasing background, but some of the highlights can be distracting because the bird's head's so small in the image. Maybe you could have done is maybe cropped a bit more, but I don't know. I would just play around with it, but as we just said, do a test print before you do it. Spending a big money out on a final print and see what happens. So again, John just said it was not done with a teleconverter. It's too expensive for him, and it's like what Daniel said, it's €500 price. Well, I'm lucky that I've got the 200 to 600 Sony lens. But even at 600, I always wish I could get more light into it. So have a look at it, John. Take some of your money out, go to Sony, put down the cash, get a prime lens, like a beautiful 600 f4 GM would be nice. That's on my wish list. Having a 400 prime lens.
Even the 400 GM
would be nice.
It's perfect for birding and wildlife. It's amazing how much of a distance you can get at that 400.
That's again that's that step up that you if you are this good with your birding, then the next step up has to be, you will have to go lens. I would say, but it's a consideration. It's a really big investment. We're talking about a $19,000 lens for Australian dollars.
That's right.
For the 400.
Or do you buy the R4 and then crop later on in post? So you're not. They're just two ways. You either invest money into another lens, and it could be the 400, mainly prime,
Yes, that's what we're all about here, Daniel.
Yeah. No.
We are the Sony shells, and we do
Yeah,
sales here. No, but we're not into that. We
No.
don't.
We're just giving you options, but I think if the cheaper option is, is the R4, because you can crop so much into that, whether it's in camera or in post.
What's more important, John? Your car or your lens? No, but honestly, I've shot with the 400, and I've shot with the 600. And I've shot birds with the 600 f4, and it is completely different to what you are. When you look through the 100 400 or even my 200 600, it's a completely different game. Because you are just basically you can shoot at will because you're at f4. And it's quite amazing how much light difference you get into the camera. Even in 400 2.8, just imagine. Wow. So that's cool stuff.
Okay, I think we need to go to the next image.
Yeah, let's go to the next image and give people hell. So thank you very much, John, for submitting
great
the
shots,
image.
mate. Keep going and keep shooting with it.
Yeah, I mean, you're just getting better and better. Every time I see a picture from you, it's just, wow, like everyone that's submitting, has been submitting.
Fantastic.
Has been showing better and better picture and improvements. It's quite concerning to me because I got to up my game now, Brett. So.
We're all going to up our game. And
but it's not a tit for tat. Everyone here is here to help each other, and we always try and just show people our craft and just we want to help people first and foremost. It's not so much about the money, it's more about the just getting the experience for people. Because we are passionate about our shooting.
We're not photographers, Mark and I. We're not about competition or anything like that, and we don't look at other photographers being our competition.
We do egg each other on a little bit, Brett.
We do.
But it's healthy. It's a healthy egg on.
It's a healthy, and So anyhow, this image, this is a pretty meaty shot, really. I think.
Sorry about this. I'll show it in all its glory, but the actual image size is a bit small. So I'm sorry about that. I can just
Nico Ford. This guy.
It's so small. It actually jumps so fast.
There's no settings on this particular shot, Mark. I don't think there was.
I just keep going a little bit, Brett. I'll just bring it up a little bit here.
Okay. I'm loving the atmosphere and all that, but I just feel the image is a bit soft. I know it's one of those images that is obviously raining, definitely over the city. I'm not really quite sure if it's raining in the foreground, but it looks a bit more muddy in the foreground. Obviously not much light. I would like to see the actual settings when you went at this photo, because
Nico didn't leave any details for this picture. And this almost looks like a drone shot, or is this was this taken on maybe on the Mount was it Mount Kufa?
It seems like that.
Around there, so.
Because I can see some tree lines that he would have been almost similar height. So he's off, right on Mount Kufa area. But it is Brisbane, isn't it? I think it is that. No, I don't know. Yes, it is. I can see that UB.
The Parliament building is there. I can see. But anyway, it's for my likings. It's too wide. The shot is a little bit too wide. It needs to be cropped in a bit.
I would have taken out half of that top of the dark sky up the top and then cropped out more of the bottom, so you get a pano look and green, and that will allow the city to become a bit more closer to the front part of the image. And I would get the what's that, dehazer, and dehaze it a bit, because the image is quite soft, and I know it's raining, but I would play with the dehazer in Lightroom to just see what would happen. Because the blacks are really crushed. That's why the blacks look really matted, and that's what happens when you crush the blacks. They go to a matte look, but it sort of does match of the mood of the scenario of the rain and that. So
I would really like to see Nico coming on a photo walk and talking with us about this, because there's a bit of we could do a bit of technique talk with him.
Yeah. So, but dehaze, I think, play around with the dehazer tool, see what happens.
I think this image is. So I'm not doing it because this image is too low resolution for me to do anything.
Yep.
So that's why I'm not touching it. That's all.
But mate, I mean, you saw something that you liked, and these are the sort of images that you learn from, and you just keep shooting until you know, I mean, we all got to make mistakes and miss shots and stuff like that. So, in order to get the image that you really want to get to, at least to a feature shot anyhow. So,
Brett just asked me to try black and white for a second, so I might do that.
Yeah, but black and white should be better. I was thinking that before, but because the black and white might take some of the muddiest look out of it. But mind you, I haven't really shot many scenes like that myself, so we're living in the dry times at the moment. So
this makes it look more industrial. The black and white, you know, like as soon as you I don't know if anyone has ever tried black and white on buildings, like this sort of look. If you got overcast, etc., straight away it looks sort of like a I don't know, end of war industrial look to me. You know, that's sort of like, you know, the coal chimneys and all that are cool, you know, so it's just reminds me of that a little bit.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of England, but there's no chimneys. It's just
old England,
But I think the black and white is more moodier. Because the colour is so blue and black. There's not even yellow that sort of works with the old blue side of things. So and
I don't know which camera this was taken on and which lens, but if you're there, Nico, just come and look us up and. Come on, just keep an eye open for our photo walks, and maybe you would like to join us and have a chat with us.
Thanks for the image, Nico.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. And I haven't seen Nico commenting in here, so I'm not sure if he's actually here. And as Daniel said, you know, dehaze, flip black and white and see,
So we're getting we're getting about another 15 minutes, and we still got another 5 images to get through or more.
Oh, we're gonna shoot through them now because this is Riss's image, Riss Hardweek.
Oh, really?
And she obviously just she always comes in every now and then and just annoys us with her images.
you Sigma.
I'm just kidding, Riz.
This is
Okay.
her shooting her new Sigma lens 7200. What was it? 2.8? Is it that right?
I knew I would get a reaction out of Riz. There you go. She goes, yo.
She was there all the time. She hasn't said a word
I
all
know,
night.
right? She's just sitting in the corner and just waiting her
Yeah.
moment in the limelight. Okay, so this was basically shot with the A99. So she's got a A-mount camera and at 1/1000th of a second, f5, ISO 100, and as you said, Brett, like her new baby, the Sigma 70-200. A-mount.
Nice looking lens and light too, by the way. She brought it to the last photo walk.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm liking this list because the first thing, you got the light actually shining across the front of the bird and underneath, which is getting shadow on his body from his tip of his wings. So I'm finding that really clever. I'm liking that. So even it's a seagull, but it's like a. I'm trying to find a word for it. It's just how the shadows is crossing underneath his belly and around the neck and creating these lines and that. So this shot, you can actually tell where the sun is. So, and the bird's eye. Can you see it clearly, much more clearly in that shot, Mark?
I'm just looking at this image, and what I'm seeing is that I'm seeing a bit of grain in the sky.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's true, Riz, but I think you raised the ISO. See, it was shot at 100 ISO.
100,
which
yeah.
That means you would have cropped this image. No, you would have cropped in a fair bit to get this.
Yeah. Because she did shoot 180. So, yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. Okay.
And you got, sorry to point this out, but I mean, it's something that we're all learning. You got sensor dirt on your sensor.
Or on the lens.
The spot. Yeah. You either got it on your lens or on your sensor, so you might need to get a sensor clean done. Just pointing that out quickly. It's not relevant to what we're talking about here in the actual review, but a bug.
Bug.
A bug? You think that's a bug? Okay. Could be a bug, but it's always good to test. I mean, that's probably a timely thing to say to people. Do check your sensors when you're going to do critical work like bird shooting or something like that, where you want to get really all these keepers. I mean, the last thing you want to see is sensor dust on your images. And it's always good to just blow it out. Like you got the technique, haven't you, Brett?
Yep.
So what do you do exactly? Every before you go out and shoot, you probably just use your.
Before I do a shoot, I go out and do a shoot. I always go through all my lenses, take the cover off, blow. If it needs a bit more than blow, well, you get a dust cloth. Mark's got a rocket blower there, blow it all off.
So you basically just go on, open up your sensor, hold the camera upside down, and then basically blow onto the sensor. But just make sure before you blow, just do a few. Sorry, I should come over here. You should blow all the dirty air out first.
Yeah.
So pump it a few times before you use it, and then hold the camera upside down with the sensor showing, and then just blow into it a little bit. but just keep your distance. Don't get too close to it because you don't want to touch. Don't let the tip touch the sensor. So always give it a bit of a safety distance. I've shown a sensor clean in the previous video, and also Daniel does a lot of talking around that as well in his shows.
Yeah.
Just to.
And another thing too, if you think you after you've done a sensor clean, leave the lens off and take a blank shot, and then just like looking up into a light or something, or at a light, and you'll see dust if there's anything left over. So
you basically to check it, you basically like what Daniel said, bring it up to f/22 and then hit it. Take a picture of a grey sky or something like that, or grey, some grey or white image, at a fair distance.
But so we need to get back to the image, and look, I'm liking this shot. I really do. It's a bit of it's slowed down a bit too, because there is movement in the wings, tip of the wings. Which is a bit odd too, because 1,000 second. You think there would be no
movement.
Movement, but it's obviously because the wings are so far out. That's where the fastest movement of the bird.
Yeah, that's why I always mention to people when you're doing bird shooting, especially birds in flight, the smaller the birds get, the faster you have to be with your shutter speed. Like what we have with John, I think it was 1/1600th of a second. But it's always a balancing act. I mean, if you're shooting wide open and you are at your limit, something's got to give. So it's ISO, bring up the ISO or something. But I'd rather bring up the ISO and have a faster shutter speed. So maybe 1,500 to 2,000s for this bird, for a seagull. But it's, as you can see, you see an image like this, and then next time you go out, exactly, okay, 1,000th of a second is not good enough. I've got to bring it up more and got to push it. So it's with bird photography, it's always pushing your limits in exposure.
And it also comes down to the person. Do they want a bit of movement of the bird, or you want complete frozen action, like John's last shot that we just saw? But yeah,
exactly. But nowadays, I mean, with the modern cameras, especially like I found that out in one of our Photowalks, the A7R4, because I haven't really, up until that point, I haven't really been using the A7R4 that much, up until about a month ago. And I'm starting to fall in love with this camera more and more, and I'm realizing that I can push the ISO more and more, and there's always a graph for everyone's camera. If you do a bit of research and a bit of detective work, you will find these where you can actually bring your ISO levels up. With the Sony R4, it is ISO 320.
Yep.
And with the A7 III and the A9, it's 640
640.
ISO.
Yep.
So these are all magic numbers for ISO levels. With the A mount lens cameras, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure there's a graph somewhere that will actually tell you how far you can push, like where there is a jump, but it will give you a clean image, and that will actually help you to bring up your shutter speed as well.
Yeah.
Bit of a trick.
No, Daniel, it's not the R4, it's 640. 640 is the A9 and the A7 III. Dual ISO for the R4 is the 320.
It's 320.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because the A9 is 640.
24. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
The
Yep,
24,
that's right.
The 24 sensors.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I
Yep.
always get them mixed up, 640 and 320. I'm not,
Mm.
but I'm pretty sure that's 320 on the R4.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not 100% sure, Daniel. Are you 100% sure, Brett?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Have we all got consensus?
Yep.
But there are graphs online, and you can actually check on it. And you know, I usually I actually push my R4 a lot more now. Like I go up to, if you saw the Photowalk ones, I pushed them all the way up to 2000s, like ISO 2000, 3000. I think I took one image at ISO 8000, and there was hardly any graining, which was amazing.
Yep.
Okay, so Jason is saying 640 on the R4 there, so
No,
Daniel is probably right. Sorry
because
about the confusion.
I remember from Mark Garland's videos, and it's the other way around, because the R4, you're dealing with a bigger sensor, more data. Yeah, so you know, and yeah,
so it is okay.
and
Now
I
I'm thoroughly confused. Okay, so guys, it is the A9 and A7 III is ISO 640.
No, I didn't, Jason. I said the other way.
640, and the R4 is 320. Okay,
Yeah.
and when you and that will give you your cleanest high ISO. It's sort of like a dual. It's called dual ISO.
It's dual, I thought. Yeah.
It is a trick. Like if you're shooting at 250 ISO, you might as well go to 320 ISO on the R4.
Because I've even tested on my A7 III at 640, and I can see the difference in 640. There's minimal grain if you're shooting at 500 or 400 ISO. Yeah, so when you hit that 640, just try it, guys. If you've got an A7 III or an A9, try it.
I
Give it a
mean, look,
shot.
for the next show, I'll bring up the charts and show everyone so that we got no confusion. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so
Another one.
this is Rissa's image again, and it was and we've seen these images before, Riss. Is that eye sharp? Riss, is that eye sharp? Are you in focus? I'm not 100% sure, so that's
It
just a
looks
matter
like
of
it to me, seeing on my
conjecture.
tablet. Yeah, it is. So,
Yeah. I'm just trying to find the settings.
well, the iris is not really tack sharp, but yeah, it's yeah. But I mean, we're peaking pixel peaking here, so yeah.
Pixel
I mean,
peeping, yeah.
so
Yeah,
so, but anyhow,
I'm struggling to find the settings for this picture, but it's look. I mean, it's a clean, sharp image, so we probably don't even need it. Again, it was
It
shot
looks
with
like
the
the 85.
A99, yeah.
Yep.
Not the A9. Don't get confused, guys. Chris has not bought the A9, and it is the A99 A mount. And yeah, nice image, clean. I would like to see it open up a little bit more, you know, to the right hand side, where a dog is looking towards.
I kind of like it actually.
Yeah.
It is a tight plot, but it's almost like she's playing in the rule of thirds here. So
And it just
yeah,
looks
it's not
like
that-
the dog
yeah.
just had some water, because there's it's a very wet tongue and a bit of like a drop hanging off the chin.
Yep.
I would like to see maybe a bit more water action, should I say? You know, a few some droplets hanging off or something, or coming off and falling off. But you know, it's all about timing and just watching the dog and just having the camera on the ready. But yeah, it's, what more can you say about this image?
There's really nothing distracted in the background and everything because she shot this wide open, and I think she's obviously used the 70 200 at 2.8, so the compression is pretty nice. But I don't know, I really can't fault it. I mean, once again, you got to rate that yourself. That was the 85. Sorry. Well, there you go.
So there you go. Riss sold his soul for the 70 to 200.
Yeah. How you going, Maradona? Here, glad you could make it. But Riss, you got to ask yourself when you go through your culling, how are you coloring your images? We were talking about this before. You do the same thing in dog portraiture and any other shootings that you do. So you've got to rate these images. I mean, there are shots that you sort of come back home and you start to cull through, and you get to that one image and it just stands out. Once you see it, it's a feature shot or it's a hero shot, and they're the two that you only would know. If there's something that comes along and you just it just looks like a normal shot, and they're the ones that they get pushed down the list, and they don't really come nothing. But they
exactly. Yeah. What Riss has been saying now. I mean, she's starting to up her game as well. I mean, not just buying new lenses, but also just being more crucial about her images, and if they're not sharp, then go in the bin. But it's like that. This is the usual path of a photographer. when you start up, you want to keep all your images, and you think all your images are great, and then you start building your way towards the upper tier. And you become better at it. You work on your technique, and then you buy better bodies, better lenses, etc. But it's mainly the technique that actually makes a big difference, and also the understanding of what you've done wrong with your previous images, and then also doing workshops, etc., which helps a lot. It actually gives you a leap, and it's the only way. I guess that's about the only way to cheat in a way, because you are actually getting knowledge from others and they're helping you along. You're not just in that curve where we used to be years and years ago when we began. Every photographer was keeping their secrets, and no one would tell you exactly how to shoot
and we
something,
didn't have
and
the
you had
internet.
to figure it out yourself. Yeah, exactly. So that's what people these days have got ahead of us. They can actually go into workshops and learn a lot. And also the technology of camera gear, etc., and the ISOs and everything what you can shoot nowadays. I mean, we only had rolls of films, Brett. We had 24 frames, and that was it. ISO 200.
Yeah,
and that was fast.
yeah.
Fast.
Yeah, the highest I ever got was 800 ISO. That was
you pushed it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
But you couldn't look at the back of the screen. You had to wait for about a week before you got the blitz back, and
and on top of all that, our editing programs were not even up to shape. It was just, it was a nightmare. Like if we had editing programs, that's another thing. Long time ago now.
Yeah. So Mark, we come over 2 hours. So
exactly. So I'm going to fly through some more images quickly, Brett. How about that? And then we do a quick review on the rest of them. Okay. So Steve sent me these images in really early, like I think literally after the previous show was over, and he sent me these through.
Okay.
So I think this. Owl, what is it, a white owl, or I don't know what name exactly it is, but this owl, I I think it's a captive owl. I think
Yeah.
it was a demonstration because you'll see that in the next image, I guess. Or I should maybe tie these two together for now. Okay, so this you can actually see, the dead mouse being devoured by this owl. So it was lured to fly, I guess. You know, so it's. I think this is very much the gist of the whole story. And again, Steve shoots with the A7 III, I believe.
Yep.
This was shot. You can see it just down below in the corner there. ISO 400, 2,000ths of a second, which is good shutter speed for this.
Yep.
f5.6, 166 millimeters, and I believe this could have been maybe a Tamron lens.
Yeah.
Are you there, Steve? If you can maybe just let us know. And
I'm liking both shots.
yeah,
I just feel he's nailed the owl flying there. Only problem is that once again,
I think we
can't
both
be
know
helped.
what the problem is with this.
Yeah, it's the tree behind it.
Yeah.
So, because it's just taken my eye away from the owl. The
Yeah.
second shot, you caught a moment. This is life, death, survival of the for the owl, but death for the rat
Mouse.
or the mice. I just think with that shot, the exposure can be come down a bit and bring out some more detail in your editing. Other than that, that's about it. All I will say, because we limit the time at the moment. But
Yeah, exactly.
well done. Yeah. So
Yeah, but it's- I
Mark's
mean,
got more. Yeah.
Your settings are correct, Steve. If anything, maybe work on your ISO. As we said, you can bring it up to ISO 640 rather than being at 400. So just remember that what we were talking about in the previous picture, and then you can maybe just even bring the shutter speed up, or even your f-stop, lower your open. Maybe that's as open as it goes, Brett. I'm not 100% sure, but maybe blur the background a little bit more. But I mean, I know how it is with those seats. I mean, if you're in the audience, you can only you're not allowed to move. Once you sit down, that's it. Because it distracts the bird. So they want you to sit down in your seat and not move, and then you are basically stuck in that position.
Yep.
But maybe, it's just really hard to actually do shots like that in captivity. And you've got these weird backgrounds.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. That's just the way it is. You can't help it, I mean, the only thing I can, you can't really know when you're going to see a bird just fly out of nowhere, and you're not going to think, oh, what's in the background? What's in the background? You're not going to think about that. So you just got to hope that one particular frame, you got that same shot, but the tree is out of the frame. The next one, or whatever. That's
I mean,
so.
with when we look at the second picture, I mean, it is a great close-up shot. So you're at 1/2000th of a second there. You could have dropped that a little bit, and you could have fixed up your ISO a little bit more. It would have been more crispy. It's just very hard to say. I mean, how far you were away from the bird. I would have wanted to see the what are they called? The claws of the bird, Just maybe
I was thinking that myself too.
the tannums, whatever. And just bring that out a little bit more, and just show how dangerous this owl actually is, with that claws and all that. But then again, you might actually have they might actually have a registered ring on their leg, and maybe you wanted to cut that out and not show it. Which I understand. Yeah, but yeah, unfortunate for the mouse, and looks like the L's very happy about it.
Yeah.
So that's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But no, great shots. Yeah. So I hope that we just give you more information and tips what to look out for. But
yeah, if you ever get a smiling bird, this is probably it. The L smiles.
Yeah. But the other thing is, like we keep telling, when everybody gives us a bird shot for us to collect, to go through, and it's not an easy thing to sort of give feedback, because you're at the anything happens, and it's not like we're in Portugal with people and that you can know, and you've got time to correct what's in the background and so forth. But birding and wildlife, you can't. That's just the way it always is, and yeah, and sometimes we just can't be picky. But yeah, okay.
Yeah. So the people are asking if that was a rat or a mouse in the first picture.
I think a mouse. A rat's a lot bigger.
Well, this one here in this picture is a mouse, but the previous one, I don't know if it was a rat or... It doesn't actually... in the description, Amy did not tell us, and I don't think she's in the program in the comment box. So, yeah, maybe you can leave that in the comment box below after the show, Amy, and just let us know. We really need to know all these things.
Are we down to our last photo?
Yeah, we're coming down to the last two, I think, because last two.
Yep.
So this is interesting. This is Terry's picture. Here you go, Terry. We finally got to you. I think Terry's been waiting for these images to actually appear, and I'm just right from the get-go. I love black and white. I just don't shoot it enough. I don't really do black and white much. But when I see them, it just brings back, it rolls back a complete era, in my mind. Now, if I can just manage to say something about this image, is that you got a reflection of a modern car on the side there. I don't know if you can see that, Brett.
Yeah.
But it's just, you will see the reflection of the guy walking, and just behind there you can see a modern car. And that sort of like pulls me back a little bit, where I was just thinking, this is an old era shot. This is like shot in the 50s or something like that. And you almost got away with it, but you can see the modern car.
Yeah.
But it's nice how you're playing with light here.
Yeah. It's very dramatic. Some highlight, shadows, black. There's very little white though in it. There's more black dominated. But it's sort of I'm trying to think of that word, noir in a way as well. Because it's so much black in it, but the trick is the highlight is on the guy, but it's not on his face, so it sort of becomes noir, mystery, dramatized sort of shot. So but seeing the reflections up the top, and there's that as well on the right hand side of the building and obviously the car, but you barely even see the woman right beside him, her too, because she's just virtually faded into the back of the scene, and this leading line of the grill going right across the bottom out to the middle of the frame. It's one of those images that you look, and it's making you look more even closer into the image to see what else you can find. So it's very clever that he's done it this way, because it's making you look at this image even more. It's not one of those images that you look at and you go, oh, okay, next image will... He's captivating something here, and I suppose that we're trying to work out what he was seeing in this shot, and so I think it's real. I like it. is done very clever shooting this. Something I probably wouldn't even think about twice shooting it, but
Yeah.
now
I
thinking
mean, it's
yeah,
something. I mean, this image is definitely a picture that you can look at it for a long time. I mean, Daniel just mentioned it, and it was shot with the RX 100,
mm,
which is
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So, but no, look, it's artistic. It's very mysterious Um,
Yeah.
very heavy with the blacks and stuff. I don't think, there's points where black is. I don't know if you look at your highlights and your blind highlights and your underexposure in your Lightroom. I'm just wondering how much of that black is probably underexposed. If there's very little, well,
Yeah.
you've done really well because
I mean,
yeah,
this was
um,
obviously the way he was holding the camera was on the hip.
yeah,
And I would have, in a way, I would have wanted to go a little bit lower
probably would. Yeah,
and make the this couple seem taller.
mm,
It's just maybe a little bit more, and just giving it a bit more, giving them a bit more grandeur and more standing up. And but yeah, I mean, you obviously picked that spot, Terry, and you were waiting for someone to walk through this light.
yep.
Or that's what I'm guessing anyway.
Mm.
Could be wrong, but I sort of like it, and I don't know if this gutter line. Um, I don't know if it's necessary to be in the picture, but it just happens to be there. But I just
Well,
don't know if it
there's not
actually
much
leads
you
me
can
out
do.
of the image, But
Yeah,
it's not much you can do about it. It's there.
no, but
So
I do like it for graphic appeal. It doesn't really take your eye away from the overall scene because this highlight over his shoulder and the rest bottom of his body, that's the highlight. And then the other highlight is switched up in the top right. It's not really that distracting, but because the major highlight, the daffodil light on the guy, and he's sort of, like he said, he's wearing a suit. It sort of reminds you, are we going back in time here? But till you realise about the modern car,
yeah. I mean,
um,
it's obviously that
yeah,
they are.
mm,
I don't think that they look distracted or are looking into the image or looking into the camera. The only thing I can see is that when I just look at this, the male figure has actually got
Yep.
his eyes closed.
mm.
That's all.
Which does make a difference because you can't really see him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, look, Terry, I like it. I do like it. These sort
Yeah.
of black and whites I do look out for, and
Yeah, it's very moody, very
Yeah.
like it's sort of like images that you can collect and have them on your wall, like as a collection. And it's
This is the sort of black and white I would see like in a gallery, because this is one of those ones you're gonna sit there for at least 3 minutes to have and you're gonna hunt through it and look everywhere, because people are gonna try and think, okay, is this guy and the woman, is this what you were concentrating on, or there's just
yeah. I mean,
something
it's Terry named this picture the suit, so he's obviously just he's seen like wherever the light has actually hit that suit, and it's
yeah.
it's yeah. See,
Okay.
I'm always looking when I'm looking for these sort of like street shots like this.
Mm.
Like I love to capture like street photography, but I want it to be in the old era. Like I'm always looking for people that are clothed in the 50s era or 40s era, which the man is, but the woman is wearing runners. But there's not much you can do about it. I mean, obviously, it's just sort of like when you're going into street photography, Street photography work is being really like everyone wants to pick on detail left, right, and center, and it's.
Mm.
I mean, sometimes it's not. Like it's a learning curve, and you keep getting better the more you shoot these, and
Mm.
it's sort of like you've got to be stealthy. You always want to make sure that they don't see you, and it's not stunted. It's
Yeah.
actual people that are walking, and not just a model that's walking, and it just all comes into it. So there's a big discussion group about these kind of shots.
Yep.
So it's been taken very serious, street photography.
Okay, we've got one more image to go through
Yep,
because
and
we
this
are
image here
way over time.
Is called leading lines. Terry calls this, and again, this would have been taken with the RX 100 version 7, I'd say. And I'll let you talk about this, Brett. This is right up your alley.
Well, I do like the fact that you got the crane and the highlight of the building, and and the top, and it's diagonal right across. And it's not really, going to right across the image. It's sort of, the back part of the image is moved and cropped into that top corner, like rule of thirds. If you imagine the rule of thirds, and you imagine where that top two lines intersect on the top right corner, he's got that pretty good there, and that. So one person. Other than that, I do like the shot. The plenty of contrast. Other than that, it's certainly COVID-19 era, isn't it? So, because
it looks empty, doesn't it?
Yeah, empty.
It's not bustling. So
Yep.
yeah.
But other than that, no. Look, it's an interesting shot. Personally, I suppose. Yes, I can see the leading lines in that aspect, and you got that right. But I just wish there was something else, that there's maybe another person that was interesting, that maybe they worn something, or something that just made a bit of a feature into that particular shot. So
I mean, it's always a learning curve, and if you absolutely want to go into street photography and all that, I mean, you really want to go ahead and really study the street photographer greats, like Henri Cartier-Bresson, and then you got there's a lot of people out there like Robert Frank, and coming to think of it, and you got Helen Lint, and all these kind of names that come into my mind, and they're just great black and white shooters from the past era, and they were just unbelievable, with their photography, and they were just besotted and just ingrained into shooting their still life or their street photography in their era, and, and a lot of people want to mimic this, but so it's just it's a long study, as far as I'm concerned, when you want to get into this and even come close to famous shooters like that. It's it's a bit like Ansel Adams, in landscape photography, like these big names are just huge, and everyone would like to be in that sort of realm, or they would like to be able to come out with shots like they were taken back then, and it's when you look at these people that took these or that are really famous, most of them, they started becoming known, but they were in their 50s and 60s and 70s, and and they've been shooting all their lives. You know, that's the apprenticeship. You know, you go through. You know,
Yeah.
it just takes a very long time to assail to something like that. You know, and copying and mimicking them is not the right path neither. You know, you got to remember that you got to find your own path. And but just seeing what they shot and how they shot and the reasons why they took the pictures, you know, and having that drive inside you. I mean, why are you taking pictures? Why are you taking street photography? Why are you doing that? And what is your thought process behind it all? You know, or you just copying someone else's image. You know? So you got to be honest with yourself and really just learn from others, but switch off everything that you've learned. It's a difficult sort of task. Anyway, with that, has anyone got any questions that we can maybe go through? Again, Terry, thank you very much for submitting your images, and
Thank you. Yeah.
Great. I mean, I can't even knock the second image, and I won't. You know, so
Yeah.
fine.
Well, that
done.
really wraps us up, mate, because we're going over half an hour at our usual
I
time.
know people are already asleep at this time of night.
Yeah.
Again,
so-
Jason said, like anything, it's who you know, not what you know. Look, I mean, it's
What you know? Yeah.
yeah, it is a constant learning curve, and it is. What do I always say, Brett? It's a never-ending apprenticeship
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
to photography.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how long you've been shooting for and how experienced it's always something new to learn. It just never ends. So, yeah.
And Lauren said, "Hey, it's 10:30 p.m. in Victoria because I got
Yep.
new daylight savings now, Brett."
Yeah.
So, you know, like, are we loving Queensland? Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We love it. Okay, good night, everyone. And again, Brett, thanks for being on the show and helping me
No
out.
problem.
And
Thanks everybody
also,
for
as Terry says, cheer, guys, and
Yeah.
more to follow. Yep, keep on
and
submitting.
thanks for everybody showing up and spreading the images and that. And anyhow, it's not from me. It's not from him. And keep shooting.
It's practically good night from us all. So, guys, thank you very much again to tuning in and watching the whole show. And Daniel, thank you very much for coming back in again. It's been really fantastic.
Yep.
Okay, and thank you, John and Lauren and everyone else that stuck around and hung it out with us. Okay, guys, thank you very much, and have a good
night.
have a good day, a good night, and a good morning. See you all later. Bye.